Hey everybody, it's me, Erin and Elyse. Oh my goodness, welcome to my first cooking video in over 2 years. I wasn't even planning on filming a cooking video today, but decided to at the last minute, basically because I was about to throw some stuff in the crock pot for our supper tonight, and I was like, hey, that's a good video. I'm out of breath because I have this little dude attached. Clearly a lot has happened in 2 years. We got my little baby boy here. This is Remy William. Adam and I are married and we have a baby, and obviously we're in a different apartment and this nicer kitchen than what we used to have. Before I show y'all what I'm gonna make for our supper tonight, I just wanted to acknowledge everyone who has commented on Instagram or sent messages or gone back and watched old videos and said like really nice encouraging things, and just the fact that there's still so many of you sticking around even though I haven't filmed anything in forever. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram because I am pretty active on there still. There's lots of baby spam if you're interested in that, and dog spam. Yeah, Pippin and Noodle are still with us. Anyways, what I'm making for supper tonight is crock pot pork chops and gravy. You could also do this with chicken if you're not a pork eater, but we eat pork. So I've got some center cut boneless pork chops that I'm gonna use. Throw them in the crock pot, let them cook, and then I'll join up with y'all later in the day when we're actually eating supper to show you a couple of quick and easy sides to go with it. Obviously, as a new mama, he's almost 3 months old, it's important to have quick, easy meals that you can do while wearing a baby if necessary. I'm gonna show you real quick what goes into this recipe. I would say get your aprons and attach it, but I got this little dude kind of in the way. I guess I could, how do you do this? Is that the front? Oh, I haven't worn an apron in quite a while. Let me see here. Tuck it up under the baby. Bounce with the baby in your apron. Dur-ga-dur, do the apron bounce. The apron bounce. Yeah, okay, sure. That works. So grab your apron if you want. You never know if you're gonna have messy hands. Get you a crock pot. This does not have to be made in a crock pot. You can also bake it. I'm sure you can do it in an Instant Pot, which I have one of those now, so I'll be sharing those types of recipes as well. You could also make it on the stove top in like a big pot. Just let it simmer and stuff. My mama's done it that way many times. But I'm doing a crock pot because with these pork chops, they can be really tough sometimes, so it's kind of foolproof. If you cook them in the crock pot, they'll be tender, so that's why I'm doing that. Also, for this type of crock pot recipe, I'm going to use a liner because easy cleanup, and that is important to me. If I was going to make like a soup or a stew in the crock pot, I would not use a liner, but for something like this, I find it's handy dandy. So stick that in down there, stick that in down there.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, man, I took the other dang old truck, man, a little muffler falling off the go, and it ain't got no brakes, man, sparks flying. Like I told him, man, I would fix that dang old thing to put on some duct tape, man.
What you need for this really easy gravy is some cream of mushroom soup. I use the reduced sodium kind because I feel like it makes me healthier. And some chicken broth. This is my absolute most favorite brand of chicken broth. It's not sponsored, I just genuinely love it and use it in like a bajillion recipes. I also use this product here, Kitchen Bouquet. It's a browning and seasoning sauce. This is something that my mama and my grandmama and I don't know, whoever else down the line used for gravies and sauces and stuff. It just makes it, gives it a little bit of color so it doesn't look like pale and sickly. I don't know, and I guess flavor. Oh, he's snoring and like face planting. So yeah, this is for a pound of pork chops or chicken. You could probably do this with like beef as well, like if you did maybe little cube steaks, and maybe instead of chicken broth, you could use beef broth. For a pound, just use 1 can of cream of mushroom soup, and then I just use the can to measure out my chicken broth. depending on how thick you want your gravy, do like half a can to a full can. I'm gonna do a full can because even if it becomes a little too thin, I just thicken it up with a slurry later on. And if I end up doing that, I'll show that. But just, yeah, add some chicken broth. I'm gonna do, oh, I dripped it. I'm gonna do 3/4 a can. So Kitchen Bouquet, I would say, I don't ever measure it, I just kind of like splish a little bit in. It doesn't take much, it's kind of like it comes out almost the same color as the dark part of this bottle. So you only need like a little splash of it. I'm gonna use this whisk and mix it. Now that looks like a good color. Oh, if you have it, cooking sherry is also really good to add to this. I don't have any cooking sherry right now, but I am gonna try a little experiment because I've got some 2-buck chuck Pinot Grigio. Cooking sherry is a dry wine, Pinot Grigio is kind of a dry wine. So I'm gonna add a little splash of that. It's in my fridge though, so I gotta get that out. Ooh. Getting in my squats. So if you have some dry white wine, you could add a little splish of that too. That's about how much I'm gonna do. Maybe a little more. Mix again to complete. And then I add in the pork. You don't have to do all this mixing ahead of time. You could just like dump it all in there at once, and then as it's like heating up and cooking, it'll combine, but I prefer to just do it this way. Grabbing myself a fork, my pork chops. There's four good sized ones here. Ooh. Like smacking. And you just kind of like push them, submerge them down, get them covered in your gravy stuff. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is add a bit of salt and pepper. I got these grinders from Trader Joe's. I add more pepper. I think it's really good with it. And I'm just gonna do a teeny bit of salt because there's already sodium obviously in these soups, so I don't want it to be too salty. Put the lid on it. It is almost 12:30 in the afternoon, and this is gonna be our supper. So I think I will cook it. We usually eat close to 7, so I'll probably cook this on low just because I do still have a big chunk of time. If you were only like 4 hours away from needing it to be ready, I would cook it on high. You can always like check on it midway through the cooking time, and if you feel like it's going too slow, just turn it up, but we're gonna cook it on low. And that's all there is to it. So this is gonna cook all afternoon. It's gonna make our apartment smell real good. And then I'll check back in, like I said, and show you a couple of quick little sides to put with it, and you have a complete little comfort food type supper. So, yay. He doesn't care. He's like, that don't matter to me, I can't eat it. Okay, see you in a bit. Back. It has been several hours. The crock pot has been doing its thing. Our boneless pork chops are basically falling apart. They're so tender, which is great because sometimes these little pork chops can be really tough. We are about to eat supper. Adam and I are always the last to eat now since we have the baby. And to elderly dogs, which are now more needy than they were the last time we were making videos. Noodle, for example, unfortunately we found out is diabetic, so she has to have a shot at a certain time every day, twice a day, with food. So the dogs have had their food. One dog has had a shot. Remy has had a bottle. Adam and I have been patiently waiting for our pork chops, and with the pork chops I decided to make mashed potatoes and green beans. Everybody knows homemade mashed potatoes are the bomb.com, but if you don't have time to do that, I really like making the Idahoan brand instant mashed potatoes, the baby reds flavor, and some steamable green beans, the Italian cut green beans. Season however you want. They just cook in the microwave. Weren't super healthy tonight. So like my two grandmothers and probably their grandmothers before them, I actually save bacon grease because it's really good to season things with. And so I put a little bit of bacon grease in our green beans and some salt and pepper. I may have also put a teeny bit in the mashed potatoes because bacon flavor is good with a lot of things. So here's what our plate looks like for supper. Oh my goodness, look at that. Pork chop and mashed potatoes and gravy and green beans. So that's what we're eating for supper tonight. That's our first Erin's Eats back after 2 years, and thank you all for tuning in if you're still around, and I appreciate all your sweet messages. Here's our meal planning magnetic board. I might start posting the meals that I plan every week because I am a meal planner, because I like to grocery shop only once a week. I might start posting this meal plan, so basically if y'all are interested in any particular recipe I have set for the week, you can let me know what you're interested in, and then I can show you how I make it, that kind of thing. So we'll see how that goes. Thanks for tuning in to this latest, most awkwardest video of Erin's Eats, and we'll see you next week with another recipe. Bye.